And good morning at 7:04 on this Monday, March 27th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our program here on a Monday morning. We welcome you to Coleman and Company, and we welcome Don Hamlet this morning to talk about Absolute Kubota. Don, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just checking your volume here to make sure everything's all right. I think we're getting out loud and clear this morning. It's a nice spring morning.
It is. It's not as nice as some of them, but it's not very bad. It's sunny out there. I can see out the window. It looks good. It's going to be another good week. I think it's going to rain a little bit on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know.
Looks like a great week to come and look at a Kubota tractor, hay equipment, zero turn mower, or even an RTV.
I can't think of a better week to do it than this week. It's got to be perfect.
Well, what anything particular on your mind this morning? Tell everybody that if they haven't heard you before, you're in sales. You're the chief salesperson.
I don't know about chief. Me and Caleb Hieronymus are in sales. You know, if you have any questions or like to purchase anything to do with anything from probably a weed eater to, you know, any kind of implements, we sell Land Pride implements. We also sell Kubota, of course, Hustler and Exmark lawnmowers. Kubota tractors, anything from your smaller BX through your Bs, your LXs, Ls, you know, all these different brands that we sell. You can get any kind of tractor you want, RTVs. We do sell construction equipment. You know, a lot of people haven't realized that we're into construction equipment now, which would be your excavators, your skid steers. We do some rental there at the store now. I think we do have an excavator. We have a skid steer in rental. You can buy seed, fertilizer, pine straw bales. Those are real popular right now. Everybody's getting their yard all prettied up.
Well, you got plenty of that.
Got all of it in stock right now for the first time, you know, like I was saying, the RTVs, the side-by-sides, last couple of years just been tough. You know, we just, one would hit the ground, we'd run it through the shop, and somebody would come in, would load it on their trailer, and it was gone. I actually have a couple of the 1140s and a 1120 and a 900 series in stock right now. So you could come in, do some 0% financing. We could load that up, or we could fill it full of fuel and bring it to you for free.
Well, you have a wonderful place there at 1506 West Main. A lot more space than you had. What was it? 2 years ago in November, I believe.
Yeah,
you
that's
made
correct.
the move.
Yeah,
and I think it's been a good one.
Our location now, which is 1506 West Main Street, it used to be a car dealership years ago, and I think we try to keep everything at our location looking like a Kubota dealership. We try to keep all the equipment paired up together and lined up. We do everything in horsepower, ranked from smallest to largest. You know, all our cab tractors, we try to keep those together. All of our implements, whether you want a 48-inch, 60-inch, 72-inch, 84, 96, we try to keep everything lined up so when our customers come in and they're looking for something, everything is just neat and orderly.
Well, let me ask you about something else. We don't talk much about this. I think we may have mentioned it a time or two. But somebody has an older model, whatever, tractor, whatever, they come and trade it in. What do you have some used stuff that maybe stays in the back?
You know, typically we would. When we were at the old dealership, let's say pre-COVID, we would always have several lawnmowers, tractors, different things like that. Now, I do have a few used trade-in lawnmowers, some commercial size, some regular size. We do keep those in stock most of the time, or we have them. Tractors and different things like that. It is so hard, Coleman, for the last couple of years to really trade for anything because people, it's like used vehicles. The price was sky high. So people could just sell those on Facebook Marketplace or somewhere else and get their money. Two things on trade equipment I'd like to go over. If you have your farm tax exempt card, there's really no tax benefit for trading in a piece of equipment. You can sell it for whatever you can sell it for and apply that as a down payment and move on. Although if you're not tax exempt, you do get tax credit for whatever the value of your piece of equipment is. If you trade something in for $10,000, that's $10,000 of your purchase you do not have to pay taxes on. And that's just normal, you know, kind of like automobile trade. So that's one thing you could look at doing.
Well, you really owe it to yourself if if any of this that you have, even the RTVs, are attractive to you. And I mean, I think everybody needs a weed eater, don't they?
Everybody does. And any piece of equipment that you might need, or any preconception you might have in your head about this color. I've gone over different colors before and wanting this kind of piece of equipment and this brand, that brand. Just give us an opportunity. That's all we can ask for. Come in or call us. You can go to our webpage. It's just www.absolutekubota.com. You can go there. You can see a lot of different things. We can make it really easy. I think I've told you before, I've sold tractors and had documents signed and done financing without ever having to, back during the COVID days, without customers ever having to come into the shop, really. So, a lot of different things can be done.
Still able to do that.
Still able to do that.
Yeah.
We can take care of you, and we can work around your work schedule. A lot of people just have to work. They don't get in town till later. We can fix up all the documents, and I can email them to you, and you can do them on Kubota side through an e-signature, and everything can just go pretty smooth.
All right, open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yep, that's correct. That's Saturday, 8 to 12.
All right. Starting, you already...
Oh, yes, we've already started that. We started that back in February, so we're there all those hours, and, there's always somebody there in parts and service and sales, so come on in and see us.
All right. Once again, everything from weed eaters to hay balers. Absolute Kubota. Don Hamlet, thank you so much.
Thank you, Coleman.
See you next Monday. Okay, we are 10 and a half minutes after the hour, and State Representative Clark Boyd joins us this morning to talk about state legislature. And before we do that, how big a basketball fan are you? Are you really at all?
Coleman, I'm not a big basketball fan. I keep it on sometimes during March Madness, and I'll follow it, but I'm not.
Well, Don and I didn't get to it on the air, but we were talking about it beforehand, how that there's not a single number 1 or number 2 seed or even number 3 seed, I think, that made it, which is unusual.
I agree, yeah.
Well, you're then in the insurance business when you're not legislating, and I think you've written your fair share of insurance policies over the year. You are gainfully employed, even would be if you weren't a state legislator.
That's right. Yeah, I'm busy in my real job and busy at the legislature, and it's this time of year, trying to live in both worlds, and it gets busy, to say the least. It almost feels like vacation to come back home to get back in my office on Thursday afternoon and do insurance work.
Well, I have your weekly update. I haven't paid a lot of attention to it. If you want to know the truth, I did well to get it printed off. But what do you want to talk about this morning?
Well, Coleman, I did shut down my committee last week, so they had instructed us to try to get things wrapped up last week if we could. If we went over, bring it on into this week. But we were able to adjourn for the year, which means this year all those bills will flow into the full committees. And there are a few that are so busy that they'll be open a few more weeks. But the Commerce Committee that my bills flow into should shut down tomorrow. And then, so next week, there may still be some education and maybe some health committees that are open, but those are going to shut down. And then everything kind of bottlenecks at the Finance Committee, and then it ultimately bottlenecks at the House floor. And then it becomes a marathon. We will be in there from 10 in the morning till 2 o'clock the next morning sometimes. I mean, we're eating pizza and peanut butter crackers on the House floor.
You hear much from your constituents?
Well, Coleman, we get the boilerplate emails where everybody sends you something on an issue, and you can tell they've just clicked a button. It's their name, but it's the same email 100 times. I don't pay as much attention to those. I'm looking more for someone because that's too easy, and oftentimes we've even gone so far as to look at the addresses on those, and sometimes they're either not in the district, or you'll look it up and the address that they claim to live at is a gas station. So you know that it's people outside of the district just trying to push their ideas on you. Generally, if someone calls in or someone emails and it looks like they live in my district and that they actually wrote the email, that's a little bit more important to me. But I, generally speaking, we hear from our constituents on problems that they need help with, whether it be state licensing issues, or it could be a TDOT issue or something like that. We try to help, but we get a lot of opinions on bills, and we take those into consideration. Those matter, but oftentimes I'm not going to vote against a bill if a handful of people from the district are uninformed about it and they oppose a bill, but they don't understand what it is. Mm-hmm. And so usually we'll try to send them an email, and if it looks like we're getting a lot of questions on one bill and people seem to be misunderstanding it, we'll type up an email and get it prepared, sort of explaining what the bill actually does and why I'm going to go ahead and support it, and we'll send it out to any of those emails that we get. And usually we'll get a thank you, and they'll go, "Wow, well, thank you for explaining that. That's not what my buddy told me, or the organization that's opposed to it told me." So really, we want to make sure that our constituents are educated and they understand why I'm for or against a bill.
Well, as it looks right now, how much longer do you think you might be there? Will you be there the whole month of April?
I was told the other day that they think we might be out the third week in April. Mm-hmm. And based on how early we started shutting down committees this year, I believe it.
Yeah. Okay. With that, we'll take our break. State Representative Clark Boyd is with us here. This is Coleman Company up in 98.9.
And at 7:16, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota, premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment. 449-6171. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's on the increase, even more so in the last few minutes over here on 65, making your way up through Brentwood, Franklin, lots of radar coming in from Coffee County this morning down sections of I-24. And it flashed some lights a few minutes ago on 24 eastbound around Broadley Parkway. And of course, the heaviest flow of traffic is westbound coming in from Rutherford County. Nash Painting services all of Middle Tennessee. Check them out online right now at nashpainting.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Exmark builds mowers that deliver a perfect cut in less time. Because we believe what you get out of your lawn, not your mower, is what matters most.
Find signature cut quality, comfort, and reliability. Exmark's Laser Z is the zero-turn more landscape pros trust. Find attractive financing and the Exmark that's right for you at Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main in Lebanon.
Exmark, official mowers of the backyard life.
Coleman and Company here on a Monday morning. State Representative Clark Boyd is with us. One thing I've kind of noticed about you tell it like it is. You don't beat around the bush a whole lot. You usually have your opinion pretty much made up. You do your research, so you do your homework, don't you?
I do, yeah. I don't make my decisions uninformed. We put there's actually a lot of behind the scenes on it that we research before we come up with our opinion on any piece of legislation.
Well, what's going to be facing you this week? Maybe you want to talk about this morning. You said it's going to be a busy time. It's a committee shut down. You really get down to voting on a lot of things on the floor, don't you?
We do. Now, I still am carrying some legislation. This year, I kind of broke it up into two different pods, is what we called it in my office. And the first one was bills that were really important to me that I've already talked about. A lot of them are energy related and the natural gas, nuclear, clean and renewable energy bill, the critical infrastructure, Class C felony if you attack it. And I had a lot of bills that I moved through. There's other ones that weren't as significant of that, but we got those through, and then we came back and picked up the next batch of them, and I'm carrying those through right now. And several of those are bills that were given to me by the Speaker of the House or various stakeholder groups, and I'll tell you about a couple of those. One of those, I don't know if I told y'all last week, but I'm working on a piece of legislation that will create a mechanism for which an employer, when someone is set up for an interview for a job and they ghost them, they never show up for the interview, they can report that to the Department of Labor, and if they're not drawing unemployment, then it's no big deal. I mean, you can ghost someone; you don't have to go for the interview. But if you are on state unemployment benefits and you submitted that you were interviewing for a job and that was a requisite for getting your benefit for that week, and you were just put in that you did it and had no intention of showing up, you can lose your benefits for that week now. based on this. And at the end of the day, we're just trying to get people back out there into the workforce. There's so many jobs that are available in Tennessee.
Have an idea, employers like that.
They really do like that. Yeah, it really burns employers up when they get ghosted because they know that they're being used to get benefits. And really, they would love for that person to come in and apply for that job and probably put them to work. And so that's a bill that I'm carrying. As you know, we have been working in this state for years to try to get broadband deployed. And it started back under the Haslam administration with probably just $10 million, and then it gets bigger and bigger over the years. We've actually not had to put a lot of Tennessee money into it. I mean, we have, but not relative to what the federal government has given. And so we have recognized that it's almost become a boondoggle in this state. I mean, there's just it just keeps coming. It keeps coming waves of money, and we still continue to have Tennesseans with no broadband access. So what we've done this year, in anticipation of nearly $1 billion in federal money that's about to be put out into the state of Tennessee for broadband deployment, is we've created a piece of legislation that puts some legislative guardrails in place. And what this does, we want to make sure that when that money it comes down and it's going to flow through the state ECD, Economic Community Development Agency, that it's spent properly. It doesn't. That we don't pick winners and losers, that we put it out there and we let these organizations bid on it. And if they can get it done for less, we want them to be able to do it. If they can get it done quicker, or if they can, we want to make sure that it also serves populations that don't have internet access. One of the problems we've seen in the past is an organization will draw down on some public dollars. They'll put broadband out there, and then a few years later, they'll draw down on some public dollars and give faster internet to the same people that they've already sold to. That's called overbuilding. And then they'll want to do it a third time and basically get public dollars and go in and offer people 1 gig internet that maybe had 300 megabit download. And we're trying to stop that, and we're saying, no, this is for people that don't have broadband. So you get out there and you help those people that literally don't have internet at their house.
Who are going to be the bigger players in this? Electric utilities, telephone companies, are they big in this?
Yeah, it's going to be, you've got the big three. You've got Charter, Comcast, and AT&T that are big players. They get involved, particularly when there's federal dollars involved. And this is just my observation, they seem to engage more with the federal government than they do with the state. Locally, here in Wilson County, two of our big players have been Middle Tennessee Electric. They've done a great job with their company that they own, United Communications. And then the other one is DeKalb Telephone Company, or co-op, out of Smithville. Both of those organizations punch way above their weight class. I mean, they have really I tell both of those groups when they come to see me, I say they remind me of my dad, where he could stretch a nickel into a quarter. I mean, you give them any dollars at all, and they just run broadband in places that you wouldn't have thought was even feasible. So I think they're going to be big players in the rural parts of Wilson County as far as getting broadband out there. But we just want to make sure with this much money, if it's misused or misallocated, we're going to be back here again in a couple of years, and the federal government's going to be giving $3 billion, and we're going to be wondering how in the world. I mean, at some point with that much money, everybody in Tennessee should have broadband. And so what happens, and just to make it clear, these companies still have to have a business model for doing it. I mean, sometimes it just doesn't make sense. It's too sparsely populated, and they're never going to run it there because there's not enough people that want it for them to do it. And so what this money is used for is a matching grant to try to get it out there. And so the federal government just keeps, it's a big emphasis for them to get it out there. And so, when these dollars come down, and again, these aren't necessarily state dollars, they're federal, but if they're going to flow through the state, we want them to be used properly. And so another piece of legislation that I'm working on, and I don't know if you've heard over the years us talk about the certificate of need process in Tennessee. It's an old process that was started, I think, back in the 70s, and there's only a few states still doing it, but it basically gives a hospital or a medical facility a kind of a veto power over whether another one moves in. And it's in some rural areas, it's probably been useful because if there's a hospital that serves an entire population and you had an ambulatory surgical center come in and funnel off all the private insurance, customers, then the hospital would be forced to serve no one but, indigent or Medicaid people. And so it has served a purpose, but it's reached a point now to where you have hospitals and medical facilities that just don't want the competition. And so they would fight it through the certificate of need process when they requested a certificate of need for the new facility. And so we're reforming that process, and I think eventually it will go away. And so I'm carrying a piece of legislation for the speaker this year that would merge the licensing and the certificate of need into a new board. And so it's just another step in that process that kind of streamlines the both certification and the certificate of need process. And another problem that we are experiencing in the medical community in particular is in some of these nursing homes and assisted living facilities, we are seeing nursing shortages. And then a staffing agency for nurses will come in and they'll bring nurses in to fill that need. And while they're there, they'll recruit other nurses, and then they'll quit their job. And then the next week, they're right back there working for the staffing agency, and they're billing triple, 3 or 4 times what the nurse was making directly working for the facility. And it's getting pretty expensive, especially when Tennessee is footing the bill for a lot of this. So I'm carrying a piece of legislation that would require these staffing agencies. We can't stop them. I mean, we're a free market society, and so, but we're trying to make sure that they meet all the same requirements that they would if they worked at the nursing home. They have to provide workers' compensation. You have to check them against the registry to make sure that they're not on the sex registry, that they're, do a criminal background check, and all the things that we would do if we had nurses working directly for the facilities. We want to make sure that they meet all those same requirements, and they would have to be licensed with the licensing board, just like any other medical institution.
Any real opposition to this?
No, both of those are going through fairly easy. They're going well. And you had a couple of weeks ago, we had discussed the abortion bill. We did pass that on the floor. An amendment was created that kind of got it in a spot where everybody was okay with it. The doctors were good with it. The Tennessee Right to Life was good with it. And it basically clarifies that a non-viable pregnancy, like an ectopic or a molar pregnancy, is not an abortion. The previous bill, the doctors and the medical facilities, they kind of felt like it put doctors in a weird spot where they could be held criminally liable for saving a mom's life. And, and some folks argued that was not the case. That was just their interpretation of the bill. But either way, we all felt like we needed to clarify that. We didn't want to create an environment where doctors were afraid to practice, OBGYN in care here in Tennessee. So I think this amendment fixed that. I think it made it clear that if it's non-viable and it's saving the life of the mother, you don't have to worry about prosecution.
Don't we still have a pretty strong abortion bill?
Oh yeah, it's one of the strongest in the country. Yeah.
We got a couple of minutes. Anything else you're particularly interested in letting everybody know this morning?
Yeah, well, just a couple of things. This didn't come through my committee, but it's something we passed in 2021. The districts were required to offer in-person learning loss remediation and student acceleration programs, basically summer camps, summer learning camps, and after-school mini camps. And it's been a pretty big success. And so there have been actually the first year, 121,000 students participated in it. And it kind of gets them up to speed after the COVID loss, the learning loss that we had that year. So the governor decided he'd like to make that permanent. And so our folks in the education committee carried the bill, and it passed. And so those will be permanent now. And so that was something we did this year. And then one other thing you may hear about it, this was sort of unique to the areas surrounding national parks, but we passed a piece of legislation. One of our legislators lives next to a national park, and the bears kept getting and just tearing into his screened-in porch and everything. So he passed a bill that if you shoot a bear, not just in self-defense, but if it is killing your livestock or it's such a nuisance that it's tearing the screens out of your porch and everything that you can defend your property against the bear. And so there were a lot of jokes made about that on the House floor, a lot of puns, but that's
Was it much
something
opposition, really?
No, nobody really pushed back on that one.
If that's happening to you, that bear needs to go.
Yeah. Well, almost any animal that's a nuisance, you can take care of, and it's not a problem. But I think with that being a bear and it being in a federally protected park, and he coordinated with the TWRA to make sure that it was done properly. And so you do have to give them a chance ahead of time. If you read, I think you're supposed to first of all notify them, and they're supposed to come take care of it. But if they don't, and it's documented, then you can.
Guess that's a good note to end on this morning. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Coleman.
State Representative Clark Boyd and Part 1 of Coleman and Company. Hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup, they'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. $49.95 up to 5-course oil, tax, and disposal, tire rotation, and safety check. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic starting to pick up right on schedule this time of the morning. 24 through the Hickory Hollow area coming in from Rutherford County, Murfreesboro area. Wilson County traffic was a little interesting earlier with quite a bit of radar in the Mount Juliet area. Traffic's picked up also 24 here at the Jolton area. Be careful, some radar as you come through that section of Robertson County where we had a terrible wreck yesterday on 24 around Pleasant View. Hey, Nash Painting Services, all of Middle Tennessee. Check them out today at nashpainting.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Hi, Cumberland fans. I'm Rance Pittman, and I'm a pitcher on the Phoenix baseball team from Westland, Oregon. We're currently ranked 25th in the nation and are in first place in the Mid-South Conference. We have 4 big games this week, starting Tuesday at Milligan at 2 p.m. Then we head to Henderson on Friday to play Free Hardman at 5 p.m. and again on Saturday at noon. Hear all the action on WANT 98.9 FM, WCOR 1490 AM, WANTFM.com, or GoCumberlandAthletics.com. Check our website for possible game time changes. Go Phoenix.
Have you ever wondered what the ministry of Jesus was really like? Now, thanks to Angel Studios, you can get a glimpse. The most successful crowd-funded series in history is coming to College Hills. By now you've heard of or seen snippets of The Chosen, but maybe a busy schedule has kept you from enjoying it without interruption. Beginning Sunday afternoon, April 16th, and for 8 weeks following, College Hills will be hosting this outstanding portrayal of the life and ministry of Jesus. There will be no formal worship time or collection. The event is free and open to the whole family. Following the showing, there will be a Q&A led by members of College Hills and other faith communities. Join us for light snacks and beverages at 4:30 p.m. and for the 1-hour showing at 5 p.m. Reignite your passion for the Savior of the world and expand your knowledge of His mission. Once again, that's April 16th, 5 p.m. at the College Hills Church of Christ on Leeville Pike in Lebanon, Tennessee. Come and see for yourself. Visit collegehills.org for more information.
No weather to worry about as we head back to work this final week of March. Look for temperatures to be in the upper 60s with low humidity and just a light breeze. We will be cool once again tonight with lows in the mid-40s by Tuesday morning. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm Number 1 Ned.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us here on a Monday morning. Time for us to recognize and welcome Billy Mullinex, Mount Juliet Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Nice to see you as always.
Man, it is always my pleasure to be here.
And the sun is shining this morning.
That's right. It's a beautiful day.
It's not too hot, not too cold. About typical weather.
This is going to be a beautiful day. Yesterday was a beautiful day.
It was. It really was.
Very nice.
Mount Juliet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, 600 Pleasant Grove Road in Mount Juliet. Billy, of course, is the general manager and comes here each Monday to tell us about it. And we talk about all the different things that you've got going there. But the big thing is you've been there for a while now, started out in Lebanon, and went to Mount Juliet, and then it got sold a few months ago. But you're still there.
I'm still there. In fact, everybody's still there pretty much, Coleman. I mean,
except Rocky Williams.
Except Rocky. Rocky retired, and I've talked to Rocky several times. He's doing really well.
Good.
And enjoying retirement.
Well, anything in particular you want to? Well, you might be talking about the end of the month. Today is the 27th.
Today's the 27th. This month, Coleman, as all of them do, they kind of slip up on us the end of the month. But you know, if somebody's got a trade, it might be worth just a tad bit more the next few days as we try to close out the month just as strong as we possibly can, and finish up March. And March has been a great month, so finish it up wonderful.
I know there's been some bad weather in places, but I think here March has not been bad.
No, you know, there's been snowstorms in places, tornadoes in places, floods, and so we've been very fortunate, Coleman. We've been very blessed, that's for sure.
Very, very thankful to say that it hadn't affected us adversely here.
That's right.
But we talk about all of them, the Chryslers, the Dodge, the Jeeps, the Rams, and as you said the other day, Jeeps and Rams have taken over more of the spotlight, really, than the Chryslers or Dodges have.
Yeah, there's just, we just sell more of those products, Coleman, always have. Ram and Jeep products are kind of our mainstay, and Chrysler and Dodge are both really good vehicles. But, you know, there's just not as many of those that are sold anywhere, but we just sell a lot more of the Rams and Jeeps.
Yeah, and those Ram trucks, the Dodge Ram, they've won award after award, and I don't know, seem like we've become much more of a truck society. Trucks are luxurious items, and they're more versatile. You can do a lot more with a truck than you can with most cars. So I guess that's got something to do with it.
Well, you know, Coleman, SUVs and trucks have kind of, you just don't have many cars per se around anymore. People have switched off to trucks and SUVs because, like you said, you know, trucks used to be just a vehicle that you just kind of worked out of or hauled stuff, but now, you know, the limited Ram truck won the luxury vehicle of the year last year, and a truck won that. So, you know, trucks have got all of the bells and whistles, the heated seats, the cooled seats, the heated steering wheel, the adaptive cruise control, side collision warning. It got everything pretty much that you can get on any vehicle. You can get on a Ram truck now, and so people have what used to be just a work vehicle has become the family vehicle.
Well, speaking of all that, we want to remind everybody that all of this, the entire inventory, not only new but pre-owned as well, can be seen at Mount Juliet, cdjr.com.
Might even see your neighbor there, Coleman.
Yeah, buddy.
But you will see all of the prices clearly posted.
Yes. That's one of the good, and that's something that hasn't changed even with ownership.
That's right.
You still have it there. You can go to mountjulietcdjr.com, see it all there. You don't have to even leave any information.
That's right.
All you know is somebody clicked on that, unless somebody leaves something, asks a question, or contacts you in some way.
That's exactly right, Coleman. But there's not just a blank spot there that says click for today's price. There's a price there, and it's a good price. We price our new vehicles very, very competitively. Like I've said before, typically we price ours where most dealers don't even want to sell the vehicle for, and then our pre-owned vehicles are priced very competitive in the market that we're in.
Well, Mount Juliet Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram offers service after the sale. They're open. The sales department is open Monday through Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yep.
So you've got most of the working hours of the day, more of them than most people work to
That's
come
right.
by and get that vehicle.
That's exactly right,
And
Coleman.
no doubt a bunch of friendly people, because you're not going to put up with somebody that's not kind and courteous.
That's
and
right.
Doing a good job.
That's exactly right. You'll find friendly people there to greet you and take care of you. So just come over and see us. Even if you're really just wanting to look around, we'll let you just look around. You know, you don't have to be real serious about. Sometimes people just want to walk around and look at vehicles, and you know, we'll just leave you alone if you want us to, and just let you browse around a little bit.
All right, and come inside and see that aquarium, that saltwater aquarium.
That's right.
You love.
That's right. I was looking at it Saturday night before I left. Boy, it is beautiful.
Oh, that's good. And one more thing, and if our guest who's waiting in the wings will make her way on in here, we'll get started with part two. Hear our guest in a moment, but just one more thing. You are on the easy side of Mount Juliet.
That's right, on the north side, so it's a little easier to get to, Coleman.
Billy, thanks a lot. We'll see you next
See you next Monday.
All right. Billy Mullinax, General Manager for Mount Juliet Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. If you would rather be on the left than the right, you can take your choice. You're okay right there. Heather Bay joins us this morning. Called Heather the other day. She's won an award, I think, got the best airport in the whole state of Tennessee, and she's the fixed-based operator for the Lebanon Airport. She's here with us this morning, and we want to welcome you to Coleman and Company. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, sir, for having me.
All right. I know you're visiting MJ, but sometimes we have to break up a party, you know.
I know. I made my rounds this morning. Saw MJ first, and then I went and saw Billy. So I'm fabulous. Doing great. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for taking a few minutes to spend time with us this morning. You've been here before. As we say sometimes, it's not your first rodeo. You've been on Coleman and Company before, but I don't think, have won this award before.
No, sir, I have not. This award.
Wanted to congratulate you on that and give you an opportunity to come out and talk a little bit about the airport at Lebanon and a little bit about you. For those who don't know you, you've been around this area for most of your life, I think.
I have. I understand that you're walking on your 30th year with WANT here, coming up on the anniversary. Well, when Carrie and I got married over 30 years ago, we lived on this exact same road. So I used to pass this place every single day when we first.
We've got plenty of time this morning. Where did you go? Where did you grow up?
Originally from Birmingham, Alabama, but grew up in Mount Juliet in the 70s. My mother and family moved here in the 70s. So
did you go to Mount Juliet High School?
I went Mount Juliet Elementary, Mount Juliet Middle School, and Mount Juliet High School.
What after high school?
So went to Vol State and then MTSU, and so
what were you doing?
Blue Raider.
After school and before the airport years?
So I've always been in some form of management, or Carrie, my husband, and I, we've owned businesses here in the community. When we lived down this street, Trousdale Ferry Pike, we owned a farm there, and we've been in agriculture for he's been in it longer than we've been married, but that's what brought me into agriculture. So that was one of the businesses that we continue to embrace is agriculture. And then we've also been in the
agriculture can be a lot of things. Did you raise cattle? Did you have sheep or goats? Did you have a garden? Or did you have an orchard? What did you do?
So we raised tobacco for many years.
Yeah.
And so we were diversified in beef cattle and row crops. And from the row crops, they were minimized when the tobacco buyout happened many years ago. And so we went to corn and soybeans, which we were already highly active in that at that time, usually with a baby on my hip. And as we have 3 sons that we've raised in this community and that have turned into wonderful young men.
Well, at some point, you got into the music business a little bit.
Yes, sir. Now
maybe a whole lot. I don't know.
We've done that as well. So, and that goes back to the management. So, in a lot of our the industries and platforms that Carrie and I are invested in, I usually take that role as the mama, and that means make sure everybody shows up, they do their job well, and that's kind of my informal way of describing that, I should say. But we really do embrace everyone, bring them in, make sure the jobs are done and finished and completed, and everyone's sent on their way. And whether it's agricultural that needs to be sent off, whether it's music that needs to be sent off, or whether it's a music video or commercial that needs to be sent off. Because in the early 2000s, we actually opened a company when Carrie had been invested for many years in music as a songwriter and as a player, as far back as, and he'll he could tell the story better than I. He and Kevin Lester were in Friendship Christians in school. They were as far back playing music all the way back in those days. And from those, and you have to understand that music is. This is Music City. This is that he was enveloped with music. His father was the song leader at Mount and Juliet Church of Christ for many years. And then when around the time when Carrie and I got married, we all started moving this way on this side of the 109 bridge, as we often say. And Carrie and I both did, and his parents as well. And they went to Maple Hill. And Carrie's just always been invested in and passionate about music, as I have been passionate about music and as well. And we opened a company called Backer Stick, very parallel to the tobacco industry, because we opened that right when the tobacco buyout happened. And so we invested into Backer Stick Music, and that's where we created a beautiful array of diversity between publishing company, recording studio, where we have songwriters, and we're just really blessed to be enveloped with a great group of individuals in the music industry.
You've done a lot of this without a lot of publicity. I'm not saying you've been totally in the background, but you haven't really been in the forefront of a lot of this. I mean, there's not a lot of people talking about all that you've done here that I've heard.
And you mean Heather? Is that what you mean? You mean as Heather, or as you mean as Heather? No, my job typically is to, whoever the person is, I want them to shine. I'm not looking for the microphone that I'm sitting in front of today. It's actually I want the one who wants that starlight to be the best that they can be, whether it be in the music industry, whether it be in the aviation industry. So that's what I mean. Like, I basically do the exact same job, nurture those individuals who are growing in whatever industry we're focused on that day, to one who might be too young to retire and comes back to the industry, and they just need to continue to shine, and this community will embrace them.
All right, Heather Bay is with us. We got to take a break right here. More coming up by Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And to 747, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota, premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment. 449-6171. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Pretty heavy out here where you would expect for this time of the morning. Coming to Hermitage, Donaldson, all that traffic trying to get past Central Pike there on 40 westbound through the Hermitage area. It's bunched up at times also already over here at 65 south at Trinity Lane. Really slower than normal, it looks like, through Hendersonville on Vietnam Vets, just trying to get up to Gallatin Pike. Hey, Nash Painting services all of Middle Tennessee. These guys are absolutely the best. This spring or summer, if you're going to get your house painted, check out these guys at nashpainting.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway, across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Coleman & Company here on a Monday morning. Beautiful Monday going for us. Last Monday in March, by the way. And I just want to mention real quickly here, City of Lebanon Public Works will start their spring cleanup next Monday, not today, next Monday, April 3rd. And it's for residents to discard unwanted items at their residence, and you need to have them out early next Monday morning. And they'll go through the city and hopefully be through by Thursday next week, then start again on the next Monday for those that they missed. But it's a 2-week process, and it all starts next Monday. We've done it before. You're probably familiar, but just a quick reminder here. Heather Bay is with us this morning, Airport Manager of the Year, which we're going to get to. I was telling you during the break, we're going around the world here to get to that this morning. But your life, you've had an interesting one. You're a busy person, but your husband, Kerry, very involved in the music business, and you were saying he and Kevin Lester went to Friendship together, did music together. Kaysen, is Kevin's son, and there's a connection there.
There is. There's actually a lot of time that's been spent together with Kaysen in his recent years, having an opportunity to write songs together. So Kaysen and Carrie have really embraced that. Now, I will say Carrie has tried to get Kevin to come back into the circle and do some writing and hang out with him and play some music. But Kevin and Teresa have come into the music studio and actually been there for the process. But Kaysen and Carrie have written some songs. I think Kaysen has actually introduced some on some social medias that he and Carrie have written together in the past. And they're having a great time making great music.
All right, where do you fit into the music? Do you sing?
I do not sing publicly anymore. There was a day many years ago in the 80s. You might have heard me in this area, but we are enveloped with such a great group of individuals who are on point. Yeah. And Kaysen Lester is a perfect example of that, who are spot on. And my job has been historically was promoting any of the visualizations that's seen for the artists that we work with, whether it be music videos, the commercials, album covers, those types of things. For many years, I produced hundreds of music videos and commercials in the industry. So,
wow. But now, at some point, you took over the Lebanon Airport.
Yes, sir.
And became the fixed-based operator.
Correct.
That's right. Okay.
In 2008, I'll try to give the short version. I know we don't have a lot of time today, but in 2008, you really started seeing YouTube come in to play. It was a new social format in how music videos were being created. There was one group that I'd worked with. It was a hard rock band. It was Mute Math, and they were one of the beginning sensations who actually created this hype and were eligible. They were up for a Grammy within that, and it was off of YouTube. And I saw that the industry was starting to change. Record labels were no longer investing hundreds of thousands of dollars to make a music video for one song that was being a single. So what they did is they actually took it and they embraced the YouTube lower investment as that Mute Math group, and it was astonishing how much more economical it was to the record labels and those who were investing, or just the artists if they were with an indie group as well. So the music videos and commercials for hire began to were not as active as they were before, because that's a lot of what I would do. Is I was hired by multiple production companies, and that's in video production, and we would make commercials and music videos for the record labels or TV, and they were such greatly diverse projects, but they were minimizing. Each year you would go down. Like I might have 70 one year, I might have 40 in next year, and then 30 the next. And you could just see something was taking away that large investment. So we didn't have a staff of 30 in Watertown, Lebanon, and downtown Nashville for 3 days making a Kelly Pickler music video like we had done for Red Hot Heels, because that was one of my projects. So we left that world and really streamlined it to the smaller investment but great visualization of YouTube. And so my time wasn't being taken away for those 3-day shoots, which would usually take me 5 to 7 days to open and close the whole gig. So I ended up being a little bit bored almost, and I don't idle well. And my husband and I had invested in the fixed base operation as just a partner at that time. And we had a wonderful gentleman who came in, and many know him, Myron Lassiter, and he managed he actually played the role as the airport manager. We gave him the job as the airport manager when we had our first company called Ready Air. We took Ready Air, and when we had 2 other partners, and they didn't want to continue that walk anymore, and that was around the time when I came into play and actually played the role within operations for the airport. And so Myron and I, for years, worked side by side. And Myron knew that I really believe Myron wanted to stay home. And if you know the Lassiter family, they're very amazing, a tight knit group,
Yeah.
and they love, and I love that about them, and I was able to embrace being home as well when I had been gone so much with all these other gigs that I had been working on. So it gave the two families really a great opportunity to be home. For Myron to be with his family, Heather to be with her family, and we basically just embraced the best of what Mike 54 Lebanon Municipal Airport was. And then when Myron had an opportunity that he was comfortable taking, he went and he's been blessed he's out flying for a group I don't think I have permission to say, but it's an amazing organization that Myron Lassiter is working for now. And around that time, I took the role over as the airport manager because I had been there for so many years, and he groomed me well. He embraced everything he knew with heart and passion and taught me that, along with my own vision and desire. I know I've told this story before on this show that if anyone was on Highway 70 and you crossed the county line at Doc Adams filling station, you were welcomed, you were embraced, you were told who the best mom and pop. Back then, we were all mom and pops. This is the 70s. And so I basically took everything. I'm a sponge. So everything I had learned that I thought was great, I truly tried to hold on to and bring as part of the welcome center for the Lebanon Airport, because that's exactly what the Lebanon Airport is. And Myron taught me that. Danny Evans taught that to us. And we just really, and Doc Adams taught that to me as a small child who moved from Birmingham in the 70s. And putting that into a business plan so that I remembered that every business and every constituent and every resident here in this community can depend on the Lebanon Airport being a good first impression for whoever's coming to be and do business with them, was really part of the marketing and the goal and the plan that has been part of us since day one.
But Heather, how did this award come? Is this something somebody sponsored you? I'm just
well, I'm still trying to find all that out. So apparently there were some nominees. I'm not really sure. I've seen some beautiful letters that have been sent back to me, but it does say that you're nominated. You're nominated with the. And the nomination goes to the Tennessee Department of Transportation, Aeronautics. Of course, you have to be nominated. I was nominated from a group here locally, some individuals here locally, and no one will fess up who the name is, but there's a couple letters that have gone forward. And just humbling letters I've read of what people have recognized that Heather Bay's done, but it hasn't been all Heather Bay. Heather Bay has, like I said before, I hire great people. And I encircle myself with people who are very knowledgeable in the industry and whatever I'm invested in, whether it's my volunteer time or my invested time. And that's what makes the airport such a great place. I just happen to have been given this amazing, prestigious award as the Airport Manager of the Year for the state of Tennessee by the Tennessee Department of Transportation Aeronautics. Their staff has to vote on it. It goes before there, then it goes towards their commission. The commission has to vote on it. And I was at the Tennessee Airports Conference a couple weeks ago, didn't know anything about this. I had absolutely no idea that this was coming. All the airport managers in the state of Tennessee, we get together. We learn from the Tennessee Aviation Association and the Tennessee Department of Transportation what's coming forward the next year, whether it be bills, whether it be grants, funds, legislation, whatever we're about to face, even on the FAA on what safety improvements practices, what are we looking for in the next year, and we are we're not surprised by 4 awards they give every year. Every year they give the governing body award. Well, we've won that one.
Yeah.
Lebanon's won that one before. We have a great group of individuals on city, state, airport commission, and airfield that work well together. So we embraced that one years ago. There was one that used to be called the Front Door Award. We've won that one. That one's basically you're the airport of the year. We've won that award. The other one that is presented is the career contribution. Well, I'm not there. I'm not Jennifer Baker with the Baker School of Aeronautics last year. She won that award. 125 countries, people from 125 countries come to the Baker School of Aeronautics every single year.
Right.
That's someone who has a career contribution. And she has her business right here in Lebanon, Tennessee, right attached to the Lebanon Airport. And so the fourth award that they give is the Airport Manager of the Year. And they say that it's for superior achievement and leadership in the state's aviation field. Yes, I will go to legislation. I will fight for our funding. I will go do all those kind of things. And I will remember the kid who wants to learn how to fly that's your grandson or great-grandson and introduce them to who would be the best instructor for them to learn how to fly for based on what their needs are. But at the same day, when the business jet flies in and they need to get to somewhere right across town and they've needed a hotel and rental cars, we've got a team that does it, that we or I will walk them through that as well. And
well, we can understand from all of this why you were selected here. We're out of time. Got 30 seconds here. I hope the future looks good. You're going to stay where you are for a while, foreseeable future.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. God willing, and the creeks don't rise, as I say. I'm very blessed to have been given the opportunity for our company, Direct Flight Solutions, that I own and manage, for us to be able to. We renewed our contract this past October. We put it up for bid. We were awarded that position, so we get to be around here for a little bit longer and present the city.
Well, thanks for sharing your time with us today, and congratulations on this wonderful award.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
That's it for a Monday. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for the Tuesday edition. Till then, I wish you a magnificent day.